Canada is dusting off, updating our country's emergency protocols when it comes to the possibility of a nuclear catastrophe. This is all about being prepared and ready in the case of an actual disaster, like an exchange of nuclear weapons or the possible spread of radiation if there was ever an explosion at a nuclear power plant. So the plan sets out a process for relocating key institutions, including, of course, the government, the Prime Minister's office, to alternate sites outside of Ottawa. Officials developing plans for a significant surge as well in requests for consular assistance in countries around the world, and also gathering potassium iodine pills as a precaution. It does come amid ongoing worries about the safety of the Zaporizhia nuclear plant in Ukraine, which is on the front line of fighting between Russia and Ukraine. Joining me now is retired Major General David Fraser, CTV military analyst. General Fraser, always good to see you. Your thoughts on these emergency protocols being updated?
Well, Todd, it's good to be with you. And I think this is a result of, at the very beginning, when Putin said he was going to put the nukes on the table, you can't ignore what Putin says and the fact that they're in Belarus right now. The government did a prudent measure of reviewing what are our nuclear protocols in the case that the nukes might be used, principally in Ukraine and where Canadians would be exposed to in Europe. But it's a measure that we would expect our government to do, but we are nowhere close to having a nuclear option in the near future.
Let's say something happened at that Zaporizhia plant, which, as you know, is one of the biggest in Europe, certainly the biggest in Ukraine. And if that were to happen, the potential fallout, literally, of an explosion.
Yeah, the potential fallout would be any of the food supplies that would come out of Ukraine or surrounding area. Where would the cloud actually flow? What's the impact on the citizens there? If we harken back to Chernobyl, this could actually be a lot bigger than Chernobyl. You're not going to be able to get in there because of the war. So, governments have to take, responsibilities of, dusting off these plans to say, what is the impact if? But we are nowhere close to that happening, but it is necessary measures nevertheless.
Yeah, tell me as well in the Canadian context, we talked a little bit about, having a plan to make sure that in the advent of Canada being targeted, General Fraser, our government could keep functioning. So we need places for government to operate outside of the national capital region, the Prime Minister's office, and other, of course, key parts of the federal government.
Absolutely. And Canada and the United States works very closely together. I mean, you've got NORAD, which is a binational command that talks about the defense of North America. Part of that will be is what do we do with our political and military leadership? Where do they go in times of crisis? Those plans are written, they're talked about, they're reviewed, and they're just going to be refreshed based on what's going on right now in Ukraine and the very remote possibility of what would happen if it got and extended over into North America. But it's a prudent, refresh. But Canadians don't need to worry about leaving the cottage right now.
Yeah, General Fraser joining us from Kingston, Ontario with his take. Always a pleasure. Thanks for this.